The MAN Truck and Bus Centre in Trafford, Manchester is one of the largest commercial vehicle dealerships in Europe, and although it's best known as the place to buy new and used MAN trucks, it's the service and MOT centre that we've come to have a look at. Not only are the trucks serviced here, but there's also a VOSA testing bay on site, which means there's a constant stream of vehicles from all manufacturers being maintained and repaired, as well as having that all-important annual VOSA MOT test carried out.
We're quite a big workshop. We're probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the UK within the MAN group. By the facilities you see, we cover all aspects of routine maintenance, repair. We like to think there's nothing can come into this dealership that we can't resolve, whatever the problem may be. We've got designated diagnostic bays, which is solely for diagnostics. We have designated inspection bays, nice and silent in there, no workshop noise, so you can pick up air leaks and stuff like that. We're quite comprehensive with what we do. And then anything that needs to come into the main workshop will be booked in under the normal process in the main workshop. So in other words, if somebody comes in, it's just a fuse blown, we hope we can find that within minutes and people go on the way. But anything that needs to come into the workshop comes in to this facility here, which is the main workshop. Trucks are much more now, they're more complex, there's a lot more diagnostic work. They're much more reliable. Every manufacturer is going to tell you that, and it's the truth. The trucks are much more reliable now. Driven properly, routine maintenance carried out correctly, the truck can go for forever virtually, to be perfectly honest with you. So yes, it has changed dramatically how we look after vehicles now. And obviously the rules and regulations, VOSA rules and regulations, SLPs, safe load pass for petroleum vehicles and such like, have got that much more stringent and grew that we've had to grow with them.
A lot of people don't realise that trucks and cars have completely different service schedules. When you're applying for a truck licence or an operator's licence, the Traffic Commission looks at the jobs that you're doing and determines when you should have your services and inspections, more importantly. They can range from anything from 4 weeks, if you're doing a really arduous job, up to 8 weeks. The norm is about 6 weeks. That means that every 6 weeks that truck has to actually be inspected over and above the service levels as well, and at the end of it also doing your plating or MOT as you get normally. This also means the fact that if they find anything wrong with it, it's got to be done. There's no escaping it. And of course nowadays, with everything being online and the ability for the traffic commissioners and VOSA to have a look at the service levels, they can check if a vehicle, without actually going physically to the workshop, they can check whether that vehicle's been serviced and maintained correctly. This is the sort of place where this goes on.
And it's not just conventional vehicles that are serviced here, but also military and medical spec vehicles. And the vehicle diagnostic work isn't the only aspect of the job that has been computerised. It's now the whole service timeline as well.
We've gone away from a lot of written exercises now. It's more and more electronic basis on like service sheets. We have a system here called e-workshop, where it's put on the system. The technician goes up to the designated job, picks off the job number, the job number or vehicle registration, and he enters all in literature, what he finds on a vehicle from an inspection, onto the computer. The easiest jobs we get is run-of-the-mill servicing, basically. Yeah. The hardest jobs we get is where a driver comes in, I've got a misfire, and that misfire can end up a major engine job. So that you have like a diagnostic time. You look on the diagnostics. Then you go to the computer, we have what we call an FSP file, we download that. We have a look at what information is in on that, so it's all based on computer and the computers that are on the vehicle, basically.
Now, another difference between cars and trucks is cars, you go, get MOT, you take it there, you wait for the call, yes, it's failed, or no, it hasn't, whatever. on trucks, because of the costs, if you like, what you do is you do it the other way around. So what I do is, and certainly I've got a horse box, it's a 7.5 tonner, and what I'll do is before I actually go and have the MOT plating and the test, I'll take it to the service and say, right, okay then, have a look round it, I've had it serviced, but there are extra bits that aren't on the service that they look for at the Authorised Test Facility and say, right, go round it, tell me, is there anything that could fail? They'll have a look and say, yeah, maybe this might do. So we do the work first of all, and then we take it across. Now here, this is the good thing about having a service workshop and an Authorised Test Facility. Instead of taking it now another 10, 15 miles down the road, what they do is they take it all the 10 or 15 feet just across to the next workshop.
Now, in the life of a truck, once a year one of these bays is a little bit more important than the others. And that's this one at the end, number 21, because that's the VOSA bay where the truck is tested to get its plate or its MOT certificate. Now, the test is pretty stringent, and you've got to say that's a good thing, because with some of these vehicles weighing up to 44 tonnes, you don't want a loose track rod end or some duff tyres or brakes to slip through the net. With most vehicles needing an annual MOT, these guys are kept pretty busy and on average carry out over 700 tests a year. Now, this is one part of the procedure that is actually not too different from a car test, in that they look at a lot of basic things like lights, indicators, brake lights, headlamps, are they aligned, are the fog lamps, side lights working, that sort of thing. But then when you get onto things like the tyres, it gets a bit more involved. They're checking not that they're just the right size, but also the correct load bearing, which is on a big vehicle is absolutely essential. Then there's the rollers, where they're checking for brakes, a traditional sort of brake test. But again, when they go onto the larger tractor units, they'll put a trailer on there and simulate the pull to make sure that the brakes are working, not just when the tractor unit's uncoupled, but also when it's got a fully loaded trailer on it. There are a lot of visual tests as well, not only for steerage linkage, things like that, but also with the braking systems that are under a lot of pressure. Get your head, get your ears right in there, look for leaks, that sort of thing. Now, some of the vehicles we've seen today, well, they're quite clean, but if a really old or a vehicle that's been working in a real dirty environment comes in, it's not VOSA's job to clean it off, it has to be presented in a way that it can be tested. So if you roll up in a truck with 4 inches of mud or offal or Lord knows what stuck to it, don't just think you're going to waltz in and get a certificate. You're going to take it away, jet wash it off, and then bring it back. And then hopefully you'll get the clean bill of health and that MOT certificate that you need. Now, although the guys here at MAN own this lane, it is operated by VOSA. And VOSA, well, some people give them a lot of stick, say they're interfering, but at the end of the day, if this is a safety issue, if they're making sure that anything that's on our roads is safe and is running to regulations, then that's got to be a good thing.